All right, let's jump back into Bitcoin and see what kind of levels we have for today for any potential trade setups. Um, Take a look at the 4 hour. We haven't changed much from yesterday. We're still pretty much in this range here on a more of a local time frame. We did hit this massive order block on Tuesday, and we also hit another area of supply right here yesterday. So it is forming a Model 2 Wyckoff distribution into this order block. So I'd like to see this distribution play out and take these lows here. So if we zoom in a bit, let's go down to the 1 hour. So this is what your range would look like from the high. So this is the distribution pattern here. We have a tap one, tap two, then your third tap here. And this would be your lows. With your poor lows, you have a very nice liquidity wave here. And you have inducement on this order block as well down here. So you have a string of poor lows with inducement on our order block with a naked point of control inside this order block. Let's pull back out just a little bit. It's also really important to note that we are still in a higher time frame downtrend. Until we break these highs, I'm not going to be super bullish on a high time frame. Now, this blue order block has already gotten hit. However, we can still come up into it one more time for even to still continue a Model 2 or even create a higher high. And let's zoom in. So you would have a tap one, tap two. This is a potential tap three to confirm. However, it could still potentially come up one more time. Let me grab the dot. And it could create a tap two higher, taking out this liquidity, faking everyone out, and then it'll come down to the downside. However, it can still come back up here, SFP this high into the same order block and create a Model 1. So I'm keeping my eye out for those two scenarios. However, my probably the better scenario, if we want this to confirm the Model 2 here, would be that it would tap back into this supply here. Since this would be creating a supply chain, you had supply here, it got respected, then you have supply here, it should get respected and continue that supply chain down. Now we do have an order block here, and it is almost 9:30, so it's almost New York Open. What I was looking for here is a potential scalp trade. Come into this order block, we have the VWAP right here. You have a VWAP long scenario into this order block, and then potentially sweep all these lows for that scenario I was talking about for the short. This order block I don't like as much. There's not really anything interesting going on here, and it's so close to these poor lows. However, I'm going to keep it on the chart for statistics sake. Let's go back here to the 4. Also want to note that we still have these highs here that are going to have a lot of liquidity in them, and a nice order block here with the naked point of control and daily. And that could potentially also lead to a Model 1 being a tap 1, tap 2, and a tap 3 into that order block here. However, it would need to be a wick, because if it creates a very massive candle and it closes up here, we're going to close above all these highs, which to me, that's going to say that we're going to flip high time frame market structure to bullish. So if we get up this high, I want to see it dip into it and dip right back down below these two lows. Now to the downside, get off of that. To the downside, we can see that we also have a range. And if we put our golden zone in there, we still have this range that we've been looking at since this entire uptrend here. We could come down to these areas for some potential longs. We don't really have anything that interesting at the 0.5 or the equilibrium of this range. We do have the golden zone, which we have two order blocks here. And then we have the most extreme demand, which sometimes can set off a very nice long if it just wants to wipe out all the remaining demand here. However, if we get down this low, we have poor lows down here, and we keep front running this massive order block. So, and that was the previous all-time high, sitting right around that order block as well. So, still watching that. I would love for this to eventually get hit. Now, what are we looking for in the mid time frames? Again, this could be rejecting here and it could go ahead and sweep all of this. However, it looks like we're getting a nice reaction off this order block and VWAP already. But we have 9 minutes to New York Open. So we could see a little extra volatility here at the open. Maybe push a little bit lower, then take it higher, and then take it ultimately to these lows here. So that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin for today. Those are all the levels. I will post the video and the charts in the Discord so everyone can watch, and I'll be updating as price goes along.